hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today in the breakout session for what the students want NeurotechEU to be, in the subtitle that we want it to be a pioneer in research and education. So today I am here together with my friend Mohamed. My name is Yildiz. I am a student representative from Karolinska Institutet. And Mohamed, can you also tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Yildiz. Hello, everyone. My name is Mohamed Sayed-Ahmad, and I'm a student representative in NeurotechEU from the University of Debrecen, where currently I am a final year medical student. And I will be here with Yildiz co-hosting this session for you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mohamed. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about research education and what opportunities NeurotechEU brings, what NeurotechEU aims at getting to, but at the same time try to brainstorm together with you what challenges that we might face on this path. So starting with what opportunities NeurotechEU brings. So I want to sort of give, I know that Tansu gave a wonderful introduction to what NeurotechEU means, but also we want to talk about, in terms of research and education, what opportunities that they bring. And as you heard from Tansu, there's comprehensive plans as bringing a sort of a digital campus where students can learn about interdisciplinary courses and follow online courses at the same time, combined with physical potentially, and manage to blend their learning experiences. And at the same time, there's a plan for an opportunity to have a European level graduate school where they'll train students in international and also cross-sectoral setting. So in the plan, the aim is to have students to have access to a group of mentors, and then basically a curriculum that spans interdisciplinary topics. So as it stands, one of the opportunities that it brings is this cross-cultural interdisciplinary environment. And luckily, we students from the bottom up have access to planning and participating in the building this structure in NeurotechEU at various levels. So that's why it's wonderful that we're here today to discuss what will be our point of view to potential challenges that we might face in this path. And with that, I want to highlight that there is you have an opportunity to ask a question.
And please be aware that the whole session is going to be recorded and is broadcasted live. So if you wouldn't like to be recorded, don't turn your camera or microphone on, and don't accept the invitation to stage.
So if we may start with what kind of then challenges that you think NeurotechEU will face in terms of while establishing this research and education in this interdisciplinary, intersectoral platform.
Just as long as we are waiting for questions, let's examine the side of what we are experiencing now.
Okay. So you and I take up the discussion then.
Absolutely, and hopefully we encourage everybody to join in.
Yeah.
As you can see, such a university as NeurotechEU, which is located in several countries, will have to heavily rely on online possibilities and solutions.
Right.
This includes all the opportunities that it has to offer, the shared knowledge, resources, and flexibility of being online and have meetings. Yet, besides, you can see the difficulties as well.
Right. Definitely. Technical infrastructure, let's say.
As you are a researcher, I would assume that it would be hugely beneficial for you to easily get in touch with other researchers from other universities and have common projects on, right?
Right. Definitely. That's a good point. That's a good, of course, an opportunity, but at the same time, to facilitate at a larger scale this kind of interaction, we need to build up a bit more, perhaps, flexible and versatile platforms. And I know this is a discussion breakout in the digital heaven, but to establish an educational curriculum that could be both physically and digitally followed, I believe that will be one of the challenges that we need to face with in achieving what you were talking about, Mohamed, like that shared platform and shared educational experience. And in addition, what other things that we can think of? Of course, then in terms of education, there are different requirements at this moment in different European countries in terms of the recognized educational credits and also in terms of curriculum and sort of to what extent countries' laws allow different bodies to set up a different curriculum. And this needs to be brought up by more central bodies to be discussed, that there will be potentially a European unified curriculum, European unified, so to say, the idea of the school, the European university, right? There needs to be, or hopefully it will be, decided by both all participant countries to give input and have a unified educational curriculum, I guess.
Maybe the moderator who's here helping us, could you pull on a poll for us to see if people would prefer to have this unified European Union diploma?
Yeah, we have a question that says, also Agrega, do you think that for tackling the legal constraints, for example, accreditation and joint degrees, European universities can give a helping hand? So that's very spot on. That's definitely what we're also discussing. I think that if there is a recognition of joint European degrees, that would be a huge step towards establishing or giving a more powerful spot to these alliances to structure a European educational platform. So, I see.
We have a blog here, so you can vote there.
So if you'd be interested in having a European diploma as opposed to a diploma from a single university. So at the moment, Mohamed, for example, if your diploma, when you graduate, is recognized in your country, do you know if in any other place that you have your diploma is recognized?
Well, as far as I know, the diploma itself is recognized everywhere in the European Union. However, some places can require, for example, me to do additional accreditation process, go through different accreditational processes, or have additional examination if my knowledge is sufficient for them. Yeah. However, if this plan of or our work will be fruitful in the future, and we will come to have a European Union diploma, then because of the unification of the processes, there wouldn't be such issues for somebody.
Yes, that's
for a person like me, I could just graduate and have the instant mobility of having my diploma recognized everywhere in the European Union. Hopefully, other places in the world as well, not just the European Union.
Yes, that would be actually the ultimate goal, I guess. And I'm wondering if it is possible, or yeah, would you like to join us discussing the accreditation and joint degree on stage? If you want, give us a shout out, and we would be delighted if you join us on discussing this.
Good morning, everyone.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us on stage to talk about it. We definitely agree with you that this would be a huge step, especially shaping up the future of European universities. This is a very important issue to tackle. So, would you like to share how do you think that, or how do you think that we will face with this, and how we can potentially prepare for tackling this issue?
As far as I know, there was another round of the European universities called first round, and they are facing a lot of problems in this field. Because unfortunately the accreditation period is long, and of course the systems of the different countries, different universities are not the same. So I think that we should not only take care of the professional background of what courses we can offer together. But also these legal constraints. So at our university, we are working in a legal group, and this legal group is part of a national group, a national legal group, because fortunately in Hungary the Ministry of Innovation and Technology is very supportive with this initiative.
Mm-hmm.
So we really hope that this will go on. And,
Yeah.
I can only confirm this for you, as there was a meeting organized by the European Commission on the 4th of November, where the rectors as well have had a meeting. And this was one of the most interesting topics they touched, that the legal background and how they are working on solving these issues. So indeed, it must be one of the main focuses of the challenges we must tackle throughout building NeurotechEU. But the good news is that the work has already started regarding this field. As you mentioned, there were other European universities as well starting in the first call. So gladly, we don't have to start from zero in this work.
Yeah, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we need to start the pieces of the wheel to get moving, I think. And it's very great to hear that on the national level too, like the lawmakers are involved in sort of, anticipating and reshaping the potential obstacles that that we might face. And I don't know if in a more alliance level, if there is a, maybe we are sort of not aware of it, even if there is, and it would be nice to get an answer. If there is similar to what Orsolia was saying, a team that's meeting with the legal group that is trying to draft a potential proposal or a report that what kind of arrangements and what kind of changes that needs to be introduced to make a legal frame for a unified degree. And I'm sure, and probably it's my ignorance that I don't know if this is happening at the alliance level. We should maybe ask that question too. So
I see some questions arriving in.
Yeah. I'm there's so many things happening, I couldn't keep an eye. Okay, let me continue. Then thank you very much. The next question that I will then move on is, what are the challenges in your field that keep you up at night, that draw you to the Neurotech initiative? Okay. Is there something that keep you up? I will then floor the question to you first, if any of you would like to answer. In my field, or actually something related to the accreditation. Accreditation, that maybe I should move on to that one. These are changing because of the votes, so I'm sorry. I thought that I am going by order, but then when somebody votes in, the question goes elsewhere. Okay, so there's 4 votes for one question. I'm going to then go for that one. What do you think about the challenge to define the required skills in neuroscience, as the field is very broad, but the time frame for, let's say, a master's degree is limited? Okay. So I do understand where the question is coming from. The time frame is limited, but the idea of tackling the whole neuroscience field itself feels overwhelming if you take that. But the main aim is to prepare you and equip you with potential tools to also acquire your specific, unique path that will help you get where you want to. So it's not like it will give you the whole neuroscience field skills. So I mean, that probably the challenge is there to strike a balance, in my opinion, to strike a balance between specified topic-specific technical skills, and also on the side a more what they call, with the very famous term, soft skills. So I think the challenge is to balance those out. and deliver it with the right amount. That would be my personal point of view. Mohamed, what do you think about it?
My insight is that this is a very good and valid question, because saying NeurotechEU doesn't give you much about what kind of majors and courses NeurotechEU will offer. So as the person who asked this question asked us, you can't really squeeze everything related to neuroscience in just 3 or 4 short years.
Yes.
However, I think this is one of those challenges that could be tackled with the expertise and all the experience that the 8 founding universities have already, because these are large, well-recognized universities, not just in Europe, but throughout the world. And the kind of experience you must have to achieve this level, I think, is sufficient to actually find a solution to this. Even while being a student, I'm not a master of education organizations or organizing actual courses, but maybe perhaps you can specify some of the majors you want to teach, and that way you can divide up the field of neuroscience into doable courses, such as a neurobiologist training, or an artificial intelligence IT person or training can be executed in 3 years, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's so broad, especially if you just put it as in only saying neuroscience. I mean, it's so broad, and it can be subdivided in so many categories. And if you think about the diverse participants to only in NeurotechEU itself, that has a lot of different disciplines represented, then it becomes, I guess, the challenge then becomes to give you the flexibility to be able to choose based on your interest, right? So like Mohamed was saying, some people are interested in programming, and some people are interested in more research, and then a platform to bring these together and interact to gain new perspectives. This will be the aim, I think. Very good, very good. I am going to go for the next. Okay.
We have another question that has 2 votes, making it the third most popular question.
Oh yes, I see. From Lena. Lena, thank you very much for the question. How do you deal with different quality of different universities? Could a joint European degree lead to a decrease of overall quality, similar to what happened following the Bologna process, making study programs similar across Europe? Definitely a valid concern. But at the same time, I see it an opportunity to actually bring different qualities to a certain level that we aspire to. So it's important to think about. So it's definitely a good question. How would we deal with it? It's probably defining. I don't know. Defining frameworks, right? Yeah, go ahead, Mohamed. What do you think?
In my opinion, however, a European university is a change that appears on a way smaller scale than the Bologna process and introducing the Bologna process, right? Yeah. So I do think that since it is a smaller group who has to cooperate and be flexible and work out something together, it also means that they are more compatible with each other to work on these challenges. And therefore, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I don't think so. this will rather lead to an increase in quality rather than a decrease.
Yeah, that was also my hope, let's say, that if you establish the right framework, sorry, I'm trying to put my charger, yes. If you establish the right framework and then, you already define from the beginning a certain quality level and required amount of input, then I hope that it actually will serve, like Mohamed was saying, it will serve to bring the quality even further to a place that we want to achieve. Because unified effort has big impact on this.
And also another point worth mentioning, and very important in my opinion, is that compared to the introduction of the Bologna process, the NeurotechEU is a fresh university. It's a new European university created by other universities. So you don't have an old, operating system which you have to transfer and recalibrate.
Yeah.
And these universities in Europe have been operating for hundreds of years, having several traditions, unique to only those universities and so on. However, when you create a new European university, which is NeurotechEU, you have the opportunity to bring all the good experiences and ideas and build something that can tackle these challenges.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's an opportunity to build something from scratch that to a quality that we all aspire to, and it's a different scale than Bologna process, so it should be somewhat more, hopefully, more positive outcome. Last, I want to say. So how much time we have left? I don't know. I wanted to ask so many things that time feels not enough. I wanted to ask what kind of skill sets do you expect to gain from NeurotechEU for your professional development, for example, in the shaping of the curriculum, that a question that we earlier had. This would play a big role. What kind of skill sets that the students feel the need to have for their professional development, right? So this question I wanted to ask. Okay, in 2 minutes we go to roundtable.
All right.
Apparently. So there are 2 questions that we didn't touch. We can also talk about it. I will try to answer them in the meanwhile. There is an IP problem question. Oh, the roundtable.
No, please continue. I don't want to interfere.
Okay. Okay, so there's 2 questions that we couldn't touch. One from Dragos Fordescu. It's about the IP problem and the open research and how this could go, patents and open research could go together. So this is in terms of research. This is also a good question. And okay, we can discuss that in the roundtable.
Okay.
And the last question was about whether NeurotechEU provides specific knowledge to the students to equip them with tools to understand the topics around neurotech and do their own research for the lifelong program that Tansu was referring to earlier in the morning. And now that Tansu is here, we can also ask his input in this. In my opinion, the aim is to sort of combine these two, both